In 1886, the Roman Catholic Church in the Oblates arrived on Cowessess First Nation. And that is when the grave site began. In 1898, the Marieval Residential School opened its doors, and it closed its doors in 1996. The Roman Catholic Church overseen the grave site. The Catholics and the prayer and religion overseen the grave site. We started our radar penetrating research on June the 2nd of 2021. As of yesterday, we have hit 751 unmarked graves. This is not a mass grave site. These are unmarked graves. Over the past years, the oral stories of our elders, of our survivors, and friends of our survivors have told us stories that knew these burials were here. In 1960, there may have been marks on these graves. The Catholic Church representatives removed these headstones, and today they are unmarked graves. At this time, I'm just going to share my screen so you have a visual of what we're talking about. You're going to notice that there are flags, and I apologize, it might be a little tough to see. But this is now today on Cowessess First Nation, and this is what we call today our community gravesite. It became our community gravesite after the 1970s, when the residential school was stopped overseen by the Roman Catholic Church and the Archdiocese. We also wanted to show you a little more of a visual from a drone perspective. Of the 751 hits, the machine has a 10 to 15% error percentage. So we will only go by the hits that we have of 751, but we do know there's at least 600. You're going to notice that they are in proper order. These that lay here are 1 meter by 1 meter apart in some cases. We cannot affirm that they are all children, but there are oral stories that there are adults in this gravesite as well, because it was the Roman Catholic Church that overseen this gravesite. Some may have went to the church and from our local towns, and they could have been buried here as well. This could be triggering to many, but when you're from Cowessess First Nation, or you have attended the Marieval Residential School, which many have in southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba, we always knew that there was graves here. The recent story of the Kamloops Residential School has triggered many in this country, and we knew this was going to trigger as well. There are many agree to disagree from Cowessess on the history of this gravesite. But I want to affirm to you, we are talking about unmarked graves. We're not talking about a mass gravesite. Today in this country, First Nations people, and this instant Cowessess, we've never ever swayed away from who we are as a Nehiyawak and Anishinaabe people. The Roman Catholic Residential School has impacted us intensely. And today we have generations that may have not went to residential school, but they are feeling the first and second generation of that impact. All we ask of all of you listening is that you stand by us as we heal and we get stronger, and that we all must put down our ignorance and accidental racism of not addressing the truth that this country has with Indigenous people. We are not asking for pity, but we are asking for understanding. We need time to heal, and this country must stand by us. We have reached out to the Government of Canada, the Prime Minister, Minister Bennett, Minister Miller, have reached out and told us that they stand beside us in what they can help with today. I have reached out and they have reached out to me, the Roman Catholic Church, our archdiocese in this region. His name is Don, and we have talked as well. What we are going to be doing now is we are going to be putting names to these unmarked graves. We want to honor our loved ones that lay there today. We want to make sure that we keep that place and preserve it so many could come here and heal. It's going to hurt in the coming months because the more we put names to them, the more that it is going to reopen some of the pains that many endured at the Marieval Residential School are going to reopen. The gravesite is there and it's real. And if you were to see it, there are 751 flags when you look at it. It is the pain of the memories of being in the school for many that it is triggering. And that's why I thank all of the messages, everyone listening, that I ask you to open your mind that this country needs to have truth and reconciliation. There's going to be many more stories in the future, and this is Cowessess First Nations.